So David, a 1-0 defeat at Kidsgrove today. I think we said last week it was a massive game for us. So disappointing result and probably a disappointing performance to go with it.
Hugely disappointing result. I think that now puts us squarely in the relegation fight. With 6 points off it now. A couple of places, but 6 points off it, and with a really tough run in. And the most disappointing thing in the performance was we didn't test the keeper. You know, we got the ball into good areas at times, but we didn't get bodies in the box. We didn't get shots off. We had headers from corners that were wide, and we just didn't test the keeper. I think we had one kicks off the line was the closest we came, and you know, they didn't really test us that much either. There's a wonder strike that made the difference, but you know, don't buy a ticket, don't win the lottery, and they've bought the ticket, and we don't. We just don't seem like we want to score. Nobody wants to take that responsibility to be a match winner.
I was just going to say, the defence seems solid. The stats don't lie. We've got a good defensive record this season, but it isn't a coincidence at the moment that when we are losing, it's 1-0. We're just not creating.
I think it's all season. I think if you look back at the season, most games we've lost are 1-0, 2-1s. It's you know, we had probably in the first 15 minutes, I think we had all the ball, all the game, a couple of half opportunities, and we squandered them. And we talk about when you have those moments in games, you have those spells, you've got to capitalise, and we just don't like doing it at the moment. Teams know if they cling in there and they can nick something, they probably win, and that's exactly what they did today.
A couple of flashpoints today. I think the first one was in the first half early on, so right winger, I think it was, had been booked just before, and then gets penalised for something that it's a bookable offence, but doesn't get his card out. Any thoughts on that one?
I thought it was a booking. Encroachment's a booking. It's an easy one. He called the captain in and spoke to him instead. I can understand why a referee might not want to send the player off at that stage of the game, but I'm pretty sure the laws are there to be applied, not interpreted as liberally as he did. That isn't why we lost the game.
Jack Marrow went down late on in the second half with what looked like a really nasty injury. He's played on, but any
no, he's
news on
fine.
Jack?
He as he was running, he stepped across the line, and it's AstroTurf there, and he just sort of went down funny, and he panicked. He's had a little bit of a niggle, and I think he just panicked. So he was fine. So no concerns.
That's good. And then we move on. I suppose you've just said we've got a very difficult run in. Of all the games that you probably look at in that run-in, next week's, I mean, it's always the next game that's the biggest game, but next week's is massive. Bootle very much in the relegation battle with us.
Today was massive, last week was massive. Every game takes increased importance. Well, the longer we go on this run of not picking up games, Bootle, a side who are down in the bottom, had a good win today, come into it with confidence, having won 3-0. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough, and now our own form's been dreadful. And it's difficult. We got them in Tuesday, we did some analysis, we had a team meeting, we had trained well, we got them in Thursday, we trained well, and just a lack of players taking responsibility when they step across the white line on a Saturday, and that's very, very difficult to fix. We'll do everything we can between now and Saturday, but when players cross the white line, they need to take ownership, and there were too many today who I don't think did. I think they worked hard, I think they ran, but people didn't want to just take the game by the scruff of the neck.
And I suppose on a last note, it's never a nice result to lose. It's never a nice result when we're losing a game like this, which was almost a 6-pointer. But fans turned up in the numbers today and backed the team throughout the game again, and they're singing more loudly than anyone in the clubhouse.
Fans always do, and we don't deserve it at the moment. You know, the reality is we're not performing. For everything else we might do, and it might be a nice group of lads, and it might be a nice management team, and everything else that we do, we're not performing, and that's what we're here to go and win games of football. And you know, we've lost the last 2 games against 2 sides in the relegation zone. That's poor by anybody's standards. So it's, you know, I know the fans are celebrating. It's tough. You know, I don't think we deserve. You know, I don't think we deserve them to be in the spirits they are. I think, you know, were they hammering us, I think it'd be entirely justified. You know, they're there. They're consistent. They turn up week in, week out. They pay the money. They get behind us 100%. And frankly, I think we've let them down in the last 2 weeks and other points this season.
Thanks, David.
Cheers, Nathan.